why are we going Camden?
I don't know. I just think Camden's gonna have what we're looking for. I haven't been Camden for a long time actually, so. But last time I was there, is that just indie people or they're homeless? Grungy.
Yeah, no. There's the Camden Lock is known for like. I know that the high street itself. I remember seeing some homeless people there before.
Sushi Mania. That's where we should take them. All you can eat sushi.
To be honest, that's another thing. I think we've
$15.95.
got to work on our approach because
That's a new one opened.
how are they gonna come with us?
How
Do you know what I mean?
Well,
I was
get in the
thinking
car
somewhere
and then
like
go.
no, but that's the thing that I don't think they're gonna wanna be taken away too far. I think if we sort of say, look, let's go get something to eat at the closest place. I don't see the problem with that because I'm saying if he's got all these
taken too far, what do you think they've got a base?
no, but okay, but they've got all their stuff, don't they? So they'll have their blankets and all that.
Yeah.
And and then what? We bring them back.
Listen, I think we just need to go and first educate ourselves.
Well, that's what
how
I mean.
do they live? Like,
That's
are
what
they?
I mean. I think
just
the
stay in one
average
place?
person. I think the average person's view is like what we're thinking right now, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, where do you see homeless people? Last time you were out,
Yeah.
Camden. Do you know what I mean? Something like that.
They don't get about because they can't. Because they ain't got money. Like they can't just jump in a bus or a taxi and get from somewhere. There's just space where they're based, and if I don't know if they can be able to walk somewhere.
What about toilet as well?
If I was homeless, I'd be looking to find somewhere where I can store my stuff during the day. Look, I think you got ranges. You're thinking about that old woman with a trolley and she's got bare shit in it.
Yeah.
And do you
Because
get
they
what I
have
mean?
like their entire life with them, don't they?
Yeah, but the ones I see, they're just chilling on the side of the road with like a dog and a.
Yeah, but even that, like, they're not gonna. But I think this is another thing, right? It's like if you're in that situation, if I put myself mentally in that position, right? And I think someone's coming, telling me, "Come with us, we'll take you for a meal," right? As a normal person, you'd sort of. When I say normal, I don't mean they're abnormal, but as in someone who isn't homeless, there'd be this distrust because you'd be like, "Well, what are you trying to get out of me?" Whereas I don't know if we're gonna get that. Do you get what I mean? Because essentially,
I think each person is going to be different as well.
You know, I just read a stat here. It says, on average, homeless people die at just 47 years old compared to the 81 years for the average UK citizen. So
47.
47 is the average death age for a homeless person in London.
Wow, that's an eye opener. That means what?
But that could be
16
related
years
to
on
other things, isn't it?
Well, health would be one of them. How'd you go
wow.
to the GP?
Yeah, health.
Yeah.
But then they go through a spiral of alcohol, drugs, maybe. Like, they're not eating well.
But that's another thing. Like these charity, I need to know what, because obviously there's charities out there, isn't there?
Yeah.
So what is
What are they doing?
What are they doing?
Yeah.
Not to say they're not doing anything, but how do they reach out to these people? Is there like a health one where they do health checks? Or
I think
something
that.
like
What's that?
He might just.
He had a
There's
suitcase.
guy outside McDonald's here. Is he?
Yeah. Should we go and chat to
Should we
him?
just? Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
know
Let's
what?
do that. Let's
You
do
know
that.
what?
Yeah.
Let's go to talk
Let's
to
not
people.
do it. Let's not get too heavy-handed though. Like, well,
Yeah.
I'll go out and then you
Yeah.
just I'm trying to think what I'm gonna say to this guy.
Hello? Like, you got 5 minutes? Can we have a chat?
But I need to tell him.
I think you should-
I think there should be full disclosure. No.
No, of course, but just open the conversation first
Yeah.
and just explain to him, hey, look, do you want a bite to eat? I'll grab you a burger or something. So I want to chat to you. Disabled parking, disabled. What am I going to do? Stay in the car?
Just wait. Yeah. Let me see if I can find him.
CCTV zone.
Is it? Alright, I'm just getting out. I'll find you.
Alright.
I'll keep my
Keep
phone
your
on
phone
me
on
just
you.
in case.
Well, he's done, innit? We were too slow for that.
How'd it go?
How'd it go?
Yeah, That was interesting. Well, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to get on camera, right? He's saying he doesn't want to get on camera because it could jeopardize his position. Basically, what he said to me is that if I'm not going in order of what he said, but he had an argument. He's been on and off homeless for 9 years. He reckons as of next month he won't be homeless anymore. But he said he's had to cheat the system, hence why he doesn't want to get on camera.
Yeah.
I did say to him, well, make it anonymous, but he was still apprehensive, and I didn't want to push it. But
cheat the system, huh?
So basically, what he's saying is he had an argument with his folks. He decided to leave home, and he's been homeless for about 9 years. He's been squatting. It was interesting what he said, because he said he's been squatting, which I asked him, you mean in other people's properties? He said, yeah. So, and then he said that the police kick him out. The police kick you out illegally. They treat you like subhuman. And, he's saying that he feels that the rich people pay them to obviously treat them this way and etc. Yeah. So I said to him, well, don't you think that you're breaking the law by squatting? And he didn't really have anything to say about that, but I could see it was almost like, well, it's weird because I'm the skeptic, right? And I'm thinking, well, hang on, mate, you're breaking the law and you're complaining that the police are you're saying that the police are breaking the law by kicking you out. But at the same time, just seeing him shiver made me think, you know what, when you're in that state, you're not thinking about that.
Yeah.
So he said, no, but they're empty properties, so they're just sitting there eating dust.
Yeah.
So
if it was your house and it was empty and you came home and someone was living in it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think he's talking more derelict empty rather than the people are away,
I heard
it was weird.
Up in near Bishop's Avenue, Colonel Gaddafi had a house. And when he died, I heard there was like a squatters party out there, man, all the homeless people.
Well, he says like that because he said, he's got friends, that are in the same situation and etc. And it was strange because So anyway, going back to what he said about cheating the system. He said, I said, how is it that you've come to have a flat now? He said, I had to play the mental health card. And as much as that annoyed me, he continued to say, look, this, I have no choice. It's either basically cheat the system or continue living like this.
Yeah, because he doesn't fall into a box. The system needs everyone to fall into a box.
Yeah, but I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that.
The thing is, he chose to leave home because he had an argument with his parents.
That's true. So,
that's because my point is, in my view, no one chooses to become homeless. Like, how bad could your argument be with your parents?
It could be bad, man.
It could be bad. I know, but at the end of the day, you'd rather be living on the street than being in the... I mean, I don't know what they're doing. I can't judge it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This is why we need to get people on board to talk to us and give us that information so we can understand it and we can see where it's coming from. And the system needs to make little boxes for people like him to fall into, so he doesn't have to go and make up a lie about
but the thing is, I know that I read somewhere that obviously priority for housing.
You switched the camera on in front.
Is it not on?
It turned off a bit ago.
All right.
I turned it on.
I read somewhere that obviously females are vulnerable. They're prioritized. So if you're a single male and you're relatively young and healthy, you're at the back of the queue. But if you're
vulnerable, you go.
If you're vulnerable, you're vulnerable. It doesn't matter how old you are, what gender you are.
No, vulnerable. What does it mean? Vulnerable to the system means that someone who's got a mental problem, has children, self-harm, something like that. Do you get what I mean? That's going to be someone who's vulnerable in their eyes. So we need to find.
It's a shame because it would have been. I think it would have been interesting if he'd have spoke to us. Then we could have, probed a little bit more in terms of what was the argument. Why is something that bad letting you basically choose to be homeless for 9 years, and then say the only way out of it is to cheat the system? Where
when you have an argument with someone,
I don't agree with
right? And then you leave it and you don't apologise and you leave it long and it gets bigger and bigger and it comes to a point of no return. Do you think that what happens?
Maybe, but the thing is, it's still a choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're still choosing to be homeless. You've chosen to be homeless for 9 years, and then you're saying to me that your only choice that you had was to play the mental health card. Sorry, I think your other choice is reconciling with your family.
Yeah, I mean that's.
It's possible that might be.
That might be one scenario. Yeah, I mean he may not have chose. Maybe he's saying he had an argument with his parents and then he left. And then he may have tried to go back and they were like, no, you're not coming back. We're happy with you not being here. There could be so many ways this could have panned out. So what we need to do is find people that are willing to speak to us, that we can give them some kind of sense of security, that they're not going to, we will not have their real details. We won't have show their face even. So I think that's going to be the approach we need to take.
Yeah.
So yeah, you going up naturally and just speaking to him. At least you've got open dialogue, so that we know they were willing to speak to us, and see how it goes. I don't. You know what? I don't want to just think about things like, oh, he chose this. Oh, he chose that. I want facts. I want answers. I want it from his own mouth.
I hear that, but it's like, I mean, it goes to show that, okay, I'm not saying they're all doing this. But it just goes to show that I feel the ones that are genuinely in that position are perhaps in touch with the charities and the people that are willing to help. I don't know what to think of it.
I think like after 9 years of being on the street, it just becomes a way of life for them. They don't really see a way out. They just see a way to survive. And maybe that's what the mental health card thing is. It's just another way.
Another hustle, like another.
Yeah.
You know what? It's like kind of putting your life on pause. Like life is not easy, right? And some people find it difficult, and maybe making that choice to become homeless, you say, right, no, this is what I'm doing now. They want to go so far back that they're going to the bare raw instinct of survival, where life becomes a lot simpler. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but those people usually go to like the woods, like I've seen stories like that where people, high street banker, he's had enough of the rat race and he becomes a recluse and goes and lives in the wood off the land. I get that. This isn't living off the land. This is cheating the system.
No, I mean, like, imagine his parents or something going, oh, you got to find a job, you got to go with education, you got to join the army, you got to do something, right? And he's going, I don't want to do all that, I don't want to do anything. So he has a big argument, decides to go and become homeless, and say, right, this is what I'm doing now, I'm being homeless.
It's entirely possible that when he was younger, 9 years ago, the council might have taken him away from his parents and put him in a sort of foster care, and he never really settled in with any particular family, and he just lost his way from a young age.
I get that's a possibility, but from what he said I had an argument with my folks, all of my folks. Yeah. That was his words. I'm quoting verbatim. Yeah.
So that means maybe he was in foster. How many folks you got? You got 2, innit, normally? What do these guys do?
No idea. It's strange, and this is the thing.
Hello.
BMW drivers, mate.
No, that's electric car drivers, mate.
I don't know, man.
He's gonna run out of batteries. He had to quickly go.
It's mad. It's mad. I don't know. That was a strange experience.
Let's not go too far deep into it. Let's just move on.
Because, like I said, we're speculating.
Yeah, that's all we're doing.
And we don't really know his full story.
Exactly.
And I want to keep at that because, like I said, the bit that annoyed me was when he said, "My only choice is to cheat the system," and I don't believe that you need to cheat the system.
There's a lot of people cheating the system, man.
Yeah.
I think that most of the people come to London to cheat the system.
I think that's the biggest problem. I think that's a big problem because I remember I was never homeless, but I remember I during my adolescence I had an argument with my dad, and I couch hopped at my friends for maybe a few months, right? And the real pressure was at that age I didn't have a job. And I didn't want to sign on because it was a pride thing, You're like, I live in the area. If I go to the job centre signing on, my mates are going to see me and it's embarrassing. And you think, well, the benefit shouldn't be viewed as like a bad thing. But I feel like there's so many people cheating the system that it just looks like a hustle. It looks like you're just a bum or I don't know. It's got this negative thing and it shouldn't be like that because it's there to help people.
It's a depressing place, the job centre. I know that firsthand.
Yeah.
Back in the day, man, you do not want to be in there.
No.
Do you know what, right? When I was younger, I wanted a job. So I went to the job centre. I was just looking for a job. I was like, yeah, I need a job. I want to go and find a job. I went in the job centre and I was like, yeah, I'm looking for a job. And they were like, well, why have you come here? And I was like, this is the job centre. Do you know what I mean? So that just tells you, like, the system is so screwed up. That's a place for people to go, not looking for a job. They're going there because they have to sign that form to get that money, kind of thing. Well, homeless people can't do that even.
I'd love to explore that.
To sign that form, you've got to have an address.
Yeah.
And it goes around like that.
That's another thing I want to explore. I want to see what problems are posed, because I don't know, is there problems posed? Can you go and say, look, I'm homeless, and do they put you in touch with a charity? Or, I don't know.
Yeah. Going up Bishop's Avenue.
Let's go Colonel Gaddafi.
Let's go Gaddafi.
Do you know which one it is?
No, I ain't got it. It's around here though.
I know Desmond's house.
Who's Desmond?
Yeah.
His boy that used to go to our school. His dad was the diplomat from Namibia.